There's something fascinating that I found out this year.
When I think about dating again,
Here are some signs that you are dating a loser. I have dated.
Stop dating men that do not.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll take a look at several women over 30 who've already hit the wall and still think they're the prize. These are women who call men losers and tell other women not to date them. We want you to smash that like button. Let's make this new year the one we hit 200,000 subscribers. Don't forget to leave a comment. It helps wake up more men. And with that said, let's get started.
There's something fascinating that I found out this year is that you don't have to date a man that hates you. I know. I was really shocked to learn about that too, because I always thought that you had to date a man who hated you and treated you terribly and made you miserable. But you actually just don't have to do that.
when I think about dating again, I think I'm too lazy. I think I thought I was done with that, and I really don't like dating. I don't like all of the bullshit get to know you conversations and then they don't go anywhere. I literally think I'm too lazy to date. I am too fucking lazy to date. So thanks, Max. Didn't ever want to do that again. So.
She's mad because Max left her. He was probably the Chad she actually wanted a relationship with, and now she has to start all over again. Classic pattern with women over 30, don't date men, I'm happy alone. All just coping because they can't get what they want. You know the saying, misery loves company. Men prefer real feminine energy, soft, joyful, no drama, no demands. But today, they're pushing the opposite, radical feminism, extreme independence, and they end up exposed at the wall, alone, bitter, and unwanted. Traditional women with values, home, respect, family, are rare gems these days. What's common are women like this one, and the one we'll see in the next video, complaining about men while sabotaging themselves. Brothers, the wall doesn't forgive.
Here are some signs that you are dating a loser. I have dated many losers in my life, so I am actually uniquely qualified to speak about this. If he slut shames you for the life that you had before him, loser! If he cannot execute. We love a methodical and thoughtful man, but if he is paralyzed with each decision that he has to make, and you are acting as his mommy, his manager, he's a loser. If he thinks he is the prize and always viewing the relationship through the lens of what you bring to the table and making you prove your worth and your value. That is a man who does not know how to put his own self-interest aside. He will not know how to put you first. He is a selfish man, and he's a loser. A man who has a history of chronic reckless behavior, like gambling, addiction. And listen, we know that sometimes life just gets you and you have to go through hard times. But if you are a woman who has everything figured out, you cannot be spending your time dating projects. Okay, and lastly, a man who loves to share traumatic stories to gain sympathy. Okay, this is very different from if you are dating a guy and you guys are getting very close and you are being vulnerable with each other. No, this is very different from that. This is a man who is literally just trauma dumping on you for the purpose of soliciting sympathy from you. Oh my God, all my exes are so crazy. Listen to all the shit that my exes did. Most of the time, he's only telling one story and he's probably in the wrong.
Stop dating men that do not come with a level up. As a woman, you are hypergamous, meaning you date up. You should not be dating men that you're on the same level as them. You should not be dating men that you're better than them. As a woman, a man is going to bring you to wherever his life is. You cannot bring a man up. He's going to bring you to where he is. So every man that you date, every man that you talk to, every man that you entertain should be a man that is providing a level up to your life. It should be like you're on stage 1, you meet him, you jump to stage 10. If you're dealing with guys and they can do the small little minor details and you're choosing to lock yourself down with a guy that is barely an increase to your lifestyle, to your mental health, to your financial state, you're not dating properly. Remember, you need to think about your children, the ones that you may already have and the ones that you will have, and your grandchildren. Stop dating men that are comfortable being in mediocrity. Stop dating men that are comfortable in being an average, and then you fall in love with him, and now you want to encourage him to develop. Now you want him to try to be better than what he is. Get with the man that's already in the place to be able to level your entire lifestyle up. As soon as you are dating a man, as soon as he is in your sphere and around you, your life should become easier. Your life should become better. But if it is not, you're not dating properly. You need to be dating men only that make your life easier than what it is, that makes your life sweeter than what it is. Because remember, women are hypergamous, so stop dating on your same level and beneath you. Okay? Bye.
If you really pay attention to what all these women say, it always starts from the same selfish place. They get everything, and the man is the one expected to give nonstop. What the hell are they bringing to the table besides demands? And I'm not just talking about money, because if you, as a woman, are out here demanding an absolute winner, a man who's accomplished, confident, has a top job, and success all around, do you really think that kind of man won't want a real winner by his side too? Not a burden dressed up as a prize? Because they all rate themselves as a perfect 10, they all swear they won't settle for losers, and they all speak from this arrogant place of being some untouchable trophy. But when you see them in raw reality, they're not successful at anything. They don't show real acts of service for their man. They can't even cook a decent meal, yet they expect a man who's a 10 in every way. Look at truly successful men. Notice they always have a woman by their side who stepped into the role of a real partner. Someone who pushed him to become his best self from the ground up. Not some opportunist waiting comfortably at the finish line to take credit for the winner and then pretend he succeeded because of her, when she was never there during the hard beginnings.
Stop doing things for your boyfriend, okay? This is a lesson I learned a little bit too late, and I want to share my perspective here. So I've been with my husband for 18 years now, but we met in high school. So we were very, very young when we met. And I stepped into this role very early on in our relationship where I would just do things for him to make his life easier or just to like make my life easier, right? And for example, in high school, that looked like me helping him with his homework or me helping write a paper or me just writing the paper because I knew that if I did that, it would make his life easier and it would also mean we had more time to hang out. And so I would do those things. But then that bled into our 20s where I would do things like remind him to renew his car registration. Like, hey, your car needs to be registered. Hey, don't forget. And then ultimately I would just do it because I'm like, okay, well, we need the car registered. I don't want to get pulled over. So here's your registration, right? And I would start to do these things. And what happened was I essentially slipped into the role that his mom used to fill, right? Like that's what a mom does. That's what I do for my kids. I'm like, hey, get your shoes on. Hey, don't forget your homework. Like, hey, let me help you with this because I'm their mother, right? But as a teenage girl and a woman in my 20s, I just kind of like slid into that role. And it set this really bad precedent. It showed him that if he didn't do something, I ultimately would. And it really didn't cause any issues in our teens or our 20s. But when we had kids, let me tell you, the resentment built up. I couldn't stand him for a couple years because I felt so frustrated that I had become the default for everything, not just for him, but also for our kids, right? It set this really bad standard and it never allowed him to step into a role of owning his own shit, right? Doing his own stuff. And I think it's something that often happens to women when they date men, especially in their 20s, where these men have gone from living in their mom's house, living in a college dorm, to living on their own maybe, and then having this girlfriend who's like, okay, well, I don't want you to like, you know, fall off the face of the earth and not have a car to drive, so let me step in and help you do these things. But I can't tell you how many women I know now who are married to men and they have to remind them to renew their license. They have to remind them to get a card for their mom for Mother's Day. Like, right, I don't want that. I don't have that anymore. Thank God I was able to, you know, essentially stop all of that with my partner. But it is something that happens like really subtly when you start dating, where you like do these things to make their lives easier. And then it becomes an expectation. And then you learn to resent your partner and they learn that they don't have to do anything. And so it's incredibly important. It's like one of my like top pieces of advice. I have a few, but this is one of my top pieces of advice, which is just stop doing things for your boyfriend that he can do for himself. Don't do things for your boyfriend that he can do for himself, right? It is okay to do acts of kindness. It is okay to do kind things for your partner. It's okay to make their life easier, but don't take on everything for them that they can do for themselves. Because ultimately, it was never meant to be your job, right? No one person should carry that load for two people. There's two people for a reason. And so they can renew their registration. They can do their own homework. They can, do whatever they need to do on their own, make their own doctor's appointments. Like, you don't have to do those things for them. Let them do those things, because if you don't, and you decide to have kids with this person, I can tell you it will lead to resentment when you are doing this, not only for your children as a mother, but for your husband as his partner, but acting like his mother.
Fuck up, you crazy bitch whore!
In short, during the early years, you were the ideal wife, the true partner this man needed. Until you became radicalized and stopped doing anything for the man who fully provides for you. The man who pays for everything. The man who put a roof over your head. The man whose hard work for 18 years has spared you from ever having to deal with a boss. You've got a credit card to spend on whatever you like, time to hit the gym, time with your kids, a nice vehicle, and you don't have to stress about making the payments. All thanks to that man, who didn't grow resentful even when having kids meant more financial pressure on him. He still gets up every morning to make sure you lack nothing. And yet, you complain about having to say something as simple as, remember to renew the car registration. Something that happens once a year. A medical appointment. Something you should help him with. Because if he gets sick, your dream life goes straight off a cliff. And now you go around telling women to be who you are today, instead of who you were when you built that perfect marriage. Honestly, that's exactly why more and more men would rather have a woman who works and just handle their own lives. Because women today don't appreciate it, and they act like they were the only ones who made the relationship work.
Women.
After another man wasted my time during a talking stage, I honestly don't know if I want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I give up. I'm not doing another talking stage. I am done dating. That's why I don't be telling my mom or my friends anymore about any of these little situations, because it's like I could go on a couple dates and then they could ask me about it the next week and I'll be like, who? Oh yeah, we stopped talking already. Like, no, that was a doozy. A doozy. It's really not easy out here, because you will go on a date with a guy and maybe it'll go great. Maybe the second date will go great. But then by the third date, he'll either say something or stop trying to take you out, give you sketchy vibes. I am good on all that. Thank you very much. Next. I literally have a picture of exactly what I want, the exact kind of man I want. It has nothing to do with what he looks like. I could literally transfer, like Build-A-Bear, the little qualities that I want in a man and put it in literally anyone, and I would probably fall in love with them. Why we just have to keep trying. I mean, literally by like the 500th guy, and I will be waiting until that. Otherwise, I will be alone, happily alone.
What really happened is simple. After 2 dates, the messages, the time, the effort, and the courtship that man invested, he realized you weren't genuinely interested. Either you were using him, just wanted attention, or you simply weren't the kind of woman suited for something serious. And when a man picks up on that, he doesn't argue, doesn't fight, and doesn't explain. He walks away. Remember, men walk away in silence. Women walk away with noise.
This is my advice for women who want to be insanely successful and want to win and get to their bag and make their own money and do their own thing. Don't date men. Don't date right now. Just don't date. I want to talk about this because it's a touchy subject, but I just personally believe that if you're trying to really make it as a woman, you can't date a man at the same time and do that. And here's why. Men are very, very, very distracting, and they're also energy soul sucking people, right? So when women date men or they have a boyfriend, and just naturally, we're nurturers, right? So we want to nurture them, take care of them. That's just how we are. Well, that's how I am. I can't speak for everybody else, but that's how I am. And when you step back and decenter men from your life and make yourself the center of your entire world and make the priority of your entire existence you and becoming successful, the success will come so much faster. I stopped dating about 2 years ago. I have not dated anyone in 2 years, and how drastically different my life has become for the better is quite literally insane. I don't even know how to explain it. I make so much money, way more money than I ever did when I was dating anyone. Career took off through the freaking roof. And the only thing that I can say to that is that I literally decentered men from my life, made my life only about me and my family and my success. And I instantly saw the change. I'm 28 years old. I made my first $100,000 in the stock market this year, growing a business, financially doing so well. Business is going great, and I'm not dating. I literally don't go. I can't even tell you the last time I went on a date, ladies. Like, and I'm not saying, you know, if you want to be my guest, but I'm telling you right now, my biggest advice to any young woman who's really trying to make it out the mud, don't date. It's just a distraction. It's a distraction. And then when that man doesn't work out, you're going to sit back and think, wow, all of that time I spent with him, I could have been focusing on me, myself, and my business. And then you're pissed off. So instead, just don't do it all together. And then when you become super successful and you have everything you want and, you know, you think that it's your time, then you can start dating. But advice for girls who are trying to make it, don't. Just don't.
See what I told you? Once they hit their 30s and crash into the wall, the whole narrative changes. But hey, congrats to her. You became the man you wanted to marry. What I will say is this: the higher a woman climbs on the corporate ladder, the lower her chances are of finding a partner. Her circle gets smaller, and her dating pool dries up. And take note of the kind of men she ends up attracting: guys looking to benefit financially from her. High-value men aren't too keen on dating women with boss energy because they don't know how to leave that energy at the office. That kind of woman usually ends up being the hardest to deal with. That's why she talks the way she does. That's why no one's asking her out. But hey, congrats again. Now you can be with yourself and with the wall, because the wall doesn't forgive. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. If a woman's had 500 tries and is still single, are men really the problem? Or is it her standards and her attitude? Why is it that a woman can proudly call herself hypergamous and demand a man who's above her, but gets offended when a man also expects a woman who brings something to the table? If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your support means a lot to us and keeps us motivated to keep creating more content. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Wall.